Do you get the feeling that if he was selling something, you'd want to buy it? I really liked Tommy when I did the interview with him, and I like him. Every time I've talked with him, it's been a great pleasure. I've run out of speakers to introduce, so I guess it's my turn. I'm going to talk about some solutions that I've thought of. Whenever you go through an exuberant time, we end up doing the same things as human beings. There was a gentleman that was an economist that was very well known. His name was Irving Fisher. And in 1929, he was very well respected, and he came out with a statement 3 days before the stock market crash, and he said that it looks like we have reached a permanent plateau for stock prices. In other words, we're going to be staying here forever. 3 days after the crash, he came out and said something like, the only thing that we've gotten rid of is the exuberant people at the top. And then, of course, that didn't turn out to be so right. Every time we have a real estate cycle, and let me see how this is going to work, we end up with large participation by a large group of people. Most of the people that get in at the end are the least capable of a downturn. They're the ones that got in because there was an emotion that played into the decision. They probably had the least money backing them. And when you look at our home ownership percentage, we got a little over 69% of us to own a home, and we thought that was probably going to be a good thing. We found out that maybe that wasn't supposed to happen. How we got there is we did every financing trick in the world, and we had a price movement that made everybody think real estate would never do what it has done. And so we have this tremendous buildup in percentage of owners, and now it's starting to decline as it naturally has to. I'm not sure I know how to work this yet.
Here comes Abe.
Aaron, it's on a delay. Maybe the battery?
We need a battery, so
Okay. That's okay. I can gab for a little while. This chart shows a vacancy rate that's very consistent all the way back to 85. And all of a sudden, we started climbing up to 2.9% now. This vacancy rate is reflecting the owners that are leaving the ownership ranks, and their homes are starting to go vacant. With all the financing that we've created over the last few years, this number is going to get perhaps significantly higher. And that's one of the things that I think we're going to have to deal with, is that maybe up to 6% of our homes are going to end up being vacant. We're going to take a look in a second at some of the other charts. There we go. The reason it's going to end up getting to the 6% vacancy rate, which is double where we are right now, are going to be three factors. One of them has to do with the tightening of loan standards. This was just released August 2008, August 11th, to the Federal Reserve banks, and they did a survey of the lenders to see where they were in relationship to tightening their standards. It says about 75% of domestic respondents, up from 60% in the previous survey, indicated they had tightened their lending standards on prime mortgages. Of the 32 respondents that originated non-traditional residential mortgage loans, about 85%, up from 75% in April survey, reported having tightened their lending standards on such loans. What this is going to do is make it harder for people to qualify to purchase, but it's also going to make it a lot more difficult for them to refi what they already have. And so we're going to end up having the vacancy rate grow. Am I now helpless? Okay, I needed to move forward. Can I get it back, by the way? This is when you know if your son likes you or not. We're going to have tightening lending standards, and we're also having to deal with the largest number of foreclosures in our history. I hear sometimes the comments being made that foreclosures perhaps are at their all-time. There's no doubt about it. This is the all-timer. This is the grand poobah of foreclosure numbers. There's never been anything remotely close to these numbers and this is probably going to continue for a little while. So we have tightening loan standards, and we have this enormous glut of inventory that has to go through the system.
Like a trigger.
Like a trigger? Thank you. So that's what's about to get through the system in 2008. What this glut of foreclosures has caused is this tremendous price erosion. We've been told that this price erosion has been a change in the mix of the homes that have sold. That's kind of where we've gone to allay, I think, our fears about what's really happening. This is a chart of homes that we've bought in the last 45 days. This doesn't just represent the old sale price, this represents the loan balance that was owed to the lender on these properties. Did we have to buy these in bulk? Nope. Bought them one at a time at an auction with 1,000 other houses going at the same time. We bought them right out of the MLS. Now, we're pretty good at what we do, so those prices represent some pretty good deals, but they're not 20% or 25% off of what an as-is purchase would be if you just walked up and took one off the shelf. I want you to take a look at that price hit. On 20 transactions, lenders lost $4.6 million. If you live next door to that Bostwick property, how would you like to know that you owe $3.25 and I just paid $84? I guess one of the things I'm worried about is the domino effect of what we really have going on in the market. That median price is reflecting the real numbers. Our prices have descended that much, and we have a lot of people that owe more than their property is worth. I don't know that we know what the reaction of them is going to be, but I think this vacancy chart is going to explode. There's 3 ways we can solve the vacancy problem, but apparently no way we can solve this one. I think. They're giving me the few-minute sign. Wow. Oh, there we go. You saw it before I did. We can take the 6% vacancy and we can tear the houses down. That would create an artificial housing shortage, and then we could start building again. Okay, I've heard it suggested, and I thought, okay. We can leave it vacant until household formation catches up with the supply. That'd probably take about 20 years. That might not be a good solution. So the third one is we can make it possible for investors who want to have rental properties to own them by providing financing. What a concept. All right. I'm afraid to push this thing again. Here's 4 solutions that I really think we need, and it's very important that we get somebody to listen to tonight so these can get implemented and we can get the real estate market to be healthier quicker.